Oh, it's Monday. Good morning. Good Monday morning, boys and girls. Cappy, sleepy. I'm still trying to catch up. Trying not catch up, but to undo. West Coast time was over in Vegas for 15 days, so we got that. But it's time to get back to work after a weekend of work. We got to get back to work at assholeconsulting.com. This is just a PSA for one of our agents in the field. He's van life agent in the field. Millennial Dick. I don't know if you guys remember him. He just wanted me to read this update here. Hey, Cappy, it's your agent in the field, Millennial Dick. I'm sure you remember my last video request. I'm here with another one. In this video request, I'll be doing 3 things. 1, bragging. 2, giving financial advice to your audience. 3, asking for financial advice. Here we go. As you might have expected, living in a van became difficult after the panic over Corona Chan closed down everything, including the gyms I shower at. Well, then you go south where there's... Guys, here, let's go. Let's go through this again. If you're going to do van life, get this book then. You might as well make it a profitable venture. But I teach you how to wash in sink basins over at waysides and rest stops. Oh, but that's... Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to live in Winnetka in the McMansion with Daddy Warbucks? Yes, van life. Go. You wash your pits. You wash your little... I even washed in... Now, this was when I was young and stupid. First going out, and you see the first real crisp... For all of you on the East Coast, okay, let me spare you a very painful experience. For you city slickers, for you East Coasters, by East Coasters, I mean anybody east of the Mississippi. on the videos, like the Coors Light commercial, you see these crisp waterfalls of water coming out of the mountains. You think, yeah, like the old Mountain Dew commercials. You got to jump in that stream of water. That water 10 minutes ago was snow uphill that melted. And it is bitch ass cold. And I remember going in, no one was around. I got buck naked and I ran right into, and I just about became a woman because everything whoop, right? Like, whoa. No. You don't, you take it, you go, take a little water, you go splash under your pits. We go, because it's still cold. You got to rinse it off. You take a towel, dry off. You can wash where there's water. Wash my head, and many times in sinks at waysides. Sometimes you even got free soap. Save yourself a little bit of money there. The trick is to not stink. And all you got to do is take, when you were a kid, washcloth, wash it off. That's it. You don't need a shower. Even started making videos on van life when it happened. Good. I published one video and had 4 more half finished when it all went down and I gave up. Had to move in with my grandmother to watch over her and work as a landscaper for a few months, which I found surprisingly enjoyable. Ryan, I got it right here. It's not coincidence. I'm not doing this on purpose. Where does his book go? He talks about this in his book, The Fook Files. He talks about how it's important to, for a man anyway, to see his work, not program code. He wants to see the crops. He wants to see the car fixed, that kind of thing. So it doesn't surprise me that you found it enjoyable. Not just for the physical labor, but for the chance to listen to 8-hour-long audiobooks every day. But now I'm back on the road, on track to be debt-free and have $10,000 in my savings account by the end of the year. There you go. I've been studying like crazy. I'm less than 2 months away from mastering JavaScript, PHP, and SQL with HTML and CSS already under my belt. I'm also working on C# as well, but that might take a while longer to master than the others. I'm also becoming proficient with 3D modeling, animation faster than I expected. I'm a damn decent pencil artist. It's amazing what happens when you don't have a commute and you don't have to sit in an office doing mundane work that doesn't teach you anything for some corporate schmuck. How's that for having a lot to brag about? That's great, man. You did it. You're doing it right. You're not waiting for these gray hairs. Duly note the hypocrisy there. To give you permission to go learn shit. You're doing it online. You're learning online. You're going traveling the van life. Getting skilled up. You're not going to college. So that's good. With that out of the way, here's my financial advice. Do not put 10% of every dollar you make into a savings account. I know that's the financial advice everyone gives, but I'm telling you it's wrong. Put half of all the money you make into your bank account with every paycheck you make starting out. Period. End of discussion. Good day, sir. No. See, now Millennial Dick. You're living van life, so you can afford to put half your paycheck away. These cool, hip, well, not so much millennials, Gen Zer types. They got to live where all the action is. Like rioting and looting and burning. Which, not joking, this is a couple weeks ago. I drove the strip where everything was burnt down. It started at Uptown. That's where it started. Well, not the burning started on Hiawatha, but from the far west, it starts in Uptown, goes all the way a little bit past Hiawatha. Atham looked that up. And that's where all the cool, hip kids were paying $2,000 a month for a little studio apartment. Gotta go where the action is. And then Herkimer's, which was an anchor bar in Uptown, that closed. And whatever cool hip joint was, now places were closing in the Twin Cities beforehand because the Twin Cities sucked. Now we've just accelerated it. But that's young people. Young people can only afford, at best, to put 10% away because they got to live. They got to pay overpriced rents. Because that's where all the action live in a small town. Oh, with people who carry guns and vote Republican. Van life people can't put half away. The other normies, conformies, inferiors can't. Budgeting the remaining half and minimizing expenses to make such a lifestyle feasible is your responsibility. Yes, you set the money first, you comply, you conform to that budget. Absolutely. Doing so creates much better discipline while simultaneously creating a peace of mind with the assurance that the money in your savings account is sitting there and always available. Well, you gotta diversify that and hedge against inflation. You know how all those kids, those cool hip kids, want to where the action is. You know how they voted in Obama? And Obama literally, he literally almost quadrupled, 3.5 times increased the money supply. And of the many things he did with that is to help out kids with, gave them more money for student loans. Didn't give it to them, loans. Well, then that money filters its way into some key categories, the primary one being housing. And 5 to 6 years later, okay, housing prices came back, more than came back, but so did the rents because the money flowed into it, drove housing prices up. And now these millennial kids like, yay, Obama, free stuff. Ain't free. You're going to give it right back now in the form of higher rents. Right back to the landlord. Technically, not even the landlord. You're giving it right back to the banks. That's who really owns the property. But all you college-educated, cool, hip millennials were all the... Remember Brooklyn? Huh? How was that? The hipsters, right? Brooklyn, that was cool. That was a hot three years, was it? Action is. Why is rent so high? It's Trump. Well, it is because Trump increased the money supply by 40%. You think housing was expensive before? But where the action is. How many people live their lives being where the action is? Going to bars and nightclubs. That's more my generation. You brew pubs. Yeah. Oh, is that the meaning of life? $11 pours for beers. Bunch of how old and tiring is the ratty beard thing going to get, huh, guys? When are you going to shave that crap off? They did that in the 70s, all the hippies, they finally started getting too old. Ronald Reagan came in and like, hey, get rid of the crap. And they trimmed up. And then the 80s came. It was this wonderful time. I had difficulty doing this because I was too obsessed with paying off my debts. I spent nearly every penny I had paying off the debt in large chunks of stuff. Yes, the number one thing you do is you set up a cash emergency reserve so you're nobody's bitch. You have to have a micro FU fund. You set that up before paying your debts. Now pay your bills. Make sure you stay current on your debts, but you don't start paying down debt. You have to get a 3 to 6 months emergency reserve first. That way, when you take a job by Boomer Bob and he lies about the job, there's been a change. You could walk away and say, fuck you, Boomer Bob. I'm out of here. You kids don't have shut up. Oh, boy, there's no one going to be visiting those old farts in the nursing homes, are they? I spent nearly I could be debt-free next week, but I'd be flat broke as well, and it isn't worth the stress. Right. So, yes, save up half. Feel free to say that with your Joker impression. Joker. I don't know. He kind of face for radio and a voice for print. He's got a touch slightly more nasally, just a touch. Sound. I can't do a Joker. I could do maybe his cadence, but I don't think I could do his voice. On to topic 3, a hard choice I need to make. As I explained earlier, I'm very close to being a good enough programmer to land a $65,000 per year job as a junior developer, but the economy is in shambles. I predict it's getting worse. Well, that's essential employment. So I don't know if you're not going to find a job. If by the end of the year I am able to get such a job, I plan to buy my first house, a very small and cheap one that I would like to send you pictures of and renovate. It would be Victorian interior style myself. I would even be able to pay it off within 1 year without any stress. Here's a link to the property with information. I would learn all kinds of carpentry skills like wiring, drawing, hanging lights, and mirror homes. All right. What the hell is this? How much is it? $34,000. Oh, God. Well, if you want to buy this house, sure. What's wrong with it that it's only $34,000? That looks like a nightmare. Here, no. If that, you're not going to buy a house. No. You get out of debt first and you build up 20% for down payment on the home. And you're not, dude, there's something wrong with this house if it only goes for $34,000. I can't even see the roof bending. And you're going to have to expend a lot of money on tools you don't have to do this job right. No. Dude, a house is complicated. Don't fuck up your life by getting a house. You don't need a house. Why are you doing that? You have van life. Go travel around. All right? Do not wait. No. You forget van life. You'll never be able to do van life again. You're going to spend all your time trying to fix up this home. If that fails, which it will, my backup plan is as follows. Go back to living with my grandmother to go really cheap. $1,000 per semester community college for pre-engineering. We'll also take several certification programs they have in high-paying trades during the summer week. Okay. I just don't care anymore. Fine. Go become an engineer on top of a programmer, namely welding and diesel mechanics. Okay, become a mechanic too and welder. Then transfer to university, my Bachelor of Science in Nuclear Engineering, graduate debt-free. Of course. And have a backup plan being a welder or diesel mechanic if nuclear engineering doesn't work out due to watermelon environments destroying the industry, in which case I would wipe my tears away with grease and diesel soaked $100 bills and $120,000 a year done. Do you see any problems or any amendments? Choose one. Fuck's sakes, guys. Stop fucking swerging out and choose one. What's the fucking programming learned for? That's it. There's my advice. I'm not repeating myself a billion fucking times over. Should I just go to college for these things I enjoy and out off a career for later, regardless of which way the economy goes, and work as a programmer part-time while doing it? I don't care what you do. They're all great things. Figure out one and go do it. Shoot me a price for a video. Also, I want to pay you to do a little voice acting for Kermit that I will then animate in a blender and post on my YouTube channel. No, I'm not. No, I will not do that. That's gross. All right, there you guys go. Well, we got super chats for this. Juan, hey Juan, what's going on? Adam was in San Francisco. He sent me a picture. He was over on one of the bridges where you got to pay an inordinate toll to drive over to where the white people shit the feces in the streets. I wanted to do that tour. They got white people shitting in the streets tour. You get to see people with their master's degree in the social sciences. Oh, look, the shitting in the streets. But he didn't go there. He didn't. I said, "You're going to visit Juan?" He said, "No." $5, $14,000 enough to travel around the country for a whole year. Keep in mind, I'll be taking my kids with me. Might beef it up to 20. I'll be driving an 04 Yukon. Well, you're the mechanic that can keep that thing on the road. 14,000 for a whole year? No, you gotta. And how far are you going to drive? Gas is going to become. Now, where are you guys going to sleep? Are you all going to sleep in the Yukon? Dude, that would be a fun experience, though. They'll never forget that. Juan, you'd be like the coolest dad ever. Like, those kids would totally remember if you're like, "Hey, kids, we're going to go drive around the country. And we're going to learn our skills and our trades." You're going to need more than 14, I'd imagine. Unless you got, like, free lodging in places you could stay. Was it September? Yeah. if you're leaving now, I don't think you're leaving now. You'd have to just kind of stay in the South because it's going to be winter pretty soon. You don't want to be in Montana in January. Why a full year? Do you have to do a full year? Like, do you not have to pay rent? Like, you're out of your lease by that time? I'd say 20. Yeah, 20. But you could do it. You have to buy food like at Aldi's or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Stay in the car. Kids would think you're crazy. I don't know if you want to do a whole year though. Try a month, okay? You got the money for that. Why don't you just try a month? Leave with the kids for a month and say, hey, kids, what's a good place to visit in September down there? Vegas would be all right. Maybe just go up the coast of California. Maybe go into the mountains still, southern mountains of the Sierra Nevada. I don't know. Just go bum around. Utah would be nice. Utah's a nice place. Yeah, I do Utah. See if you can handle, like, let's just say 2 weeks in Utah. Do 2 weeks in Utah. Do some traveling with your kids. See if they could sleep in it. Do that trial run, and then you'll figure out what mistakes you're making along the way before you take a whole year and save up 20 grand. Or maybe you'll find out this is the worst idea you've ever had in your life. Zaranks for $5. Help me, Cappy. New York Times report Trump paid $750 in taxes. I need your crystal ball know-how to determine whether I vote for him or team Biden Harris. He could have just had a bad year. The New York Times, among other places, and this is just true of everybody pretty much, unless you are an accountant or a tax guy like Chad Elkins or me. He could have had some lost carryovers. That happens. Like, you have $2 million of losses, and you carry those losses over to offset your gains down in the future because it's like, no, I lost all this money. I get to write that off against my gains in the future, which is not only legal but perfectly ethical. So Trump may have had a bad year. That means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. Oh my God, New York Times. Oh my God, Trump only paid that much in tax. Oh, but then you're all like pro Apple and they pay zero because of their little tax inversion scheme, or Amazon or Google. Maybe it's all of them. I don't have time to get worked up about. Well, let me point out another thing, Zaranks. It's an election year. Have you guys seen the political advertisements out there now for any, it doesn't matter. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. State, federal, local office, it doesn't matter. This dude, I remember this as a little kid, like watching these commercials like, Donald Trump is a bad man, and he said he wants to kill little kittens. Don't vote Trump. And even as a little kid, I was like, who falls for this? What idiots and morons fall for it? Well, if you're a smart person, you don't fall for it, but there's not a lot of smart people. You want to see how dumb the American population is? Go watch not only professional sports, go watch political ads and realize those are perfectly tailored for the average voter, the average American. Jason Lewis said something bad. You don't want Jason Lewis because he will rape your wives. Vote not the guy who's Jason Lewis. He will bring in, he did this thing and that thing and helps the children for a better America. And they wave the flag. That is the New York Times. The New York Times not only speaks to average idiots and morons, it's worse. They talk to arrogant and egotistical. I read the New York Times. Like, well, so you're the same idiots that wore Cavarici pants in the 80s. Thought you were great. Go fuck off. You're dumb. You're arrogant on top of it, thinking you're an intellectual. New York Times. New York Times. You think you're us? One of us? US? USA. No way. No one's going to get that one. New York Times. New York Times. Adriano Ramos, $2 Australian. Do you believe Star Wars is copied from Dune? I don't know. I don't think so. I never watched Dune. They kept isn't it like an 8-hour weird space soap opera that I didn't want to watch? And just big worms out in the middle of the desert. I didn't want to. Nonsensical rants for $10. The programming was for fun. Nuclear. Oh, here's Millennial Dick. Oh, look, he's got his van in the back. The programming was for fun. Nuclear engineering is my dream. Diesel mechanic will be the backup plan. Oh, okay. Okay. If nuclear engineering is your dream, why don't you research that field and find out if they're going to hire, or if they're decommissioning nuclear power plants and there just isn't that much demand for it. And then, yeah, if you want to, go ahead, do diesel mechanic. You only got so much time. I would, do you want to and then why not program, man? It's up to you. Juan, $5. My kids wants to visit a lot of places like Niagara Falls. That's way the hell out there, man. That's literally across the country. That's what I was aiming for a whole year. Oh. Yeah, the Grand Canyon. Why don't you do Grand Canyon and then up past Monument Valley? Write these all down. You do Grand Canyon with the kids, all right? Flagstaff. Then you go through Monument Valley, and then I chill out in either Monticello or Bluff, Utah, and check out Mexican Hat. You'll drive past it. But then you get to go to Moab. Moab is very expensive. Don't stay in Moab. Stay in Monticello. Drive around from there. Check out Cortez, Colorado. That's 40 miles away. And then they'll see the canyons. They'll see Grand Canyon. They'll see where Grand Canyon technically starts, which is Canyonlands, which I think is much prettier. There's Arches National Park out there. Then you can hit Capitol Reef, Bryce, and Zion. You do that big loop before you, because Mount Rushmore's still at least a day and a half, if not 2 days drive. You're going to the top of the country and you're going all the way to the middle from San Fran. And you got to go through the Sierra Nevada somehow. So you're probably going to have to shoot up to Sacramento and over on 80, which isn't that bad. Yeah, you could get there in 2 days. Let's see if you can make it to the Grand Canyon first one. I don't know how your kids are, but let's see. I want to see a ton of pictures, dude. You got to email me a ton of pictures of your kids screaming and crying and you at the end of a bottle. I got to see this. Maybe postpone Mount Rushmore till later. How about this? Why don't you wait till I got my house built out there? Then you could come visit. But you do a trial run, see how the kids handle being cooped up in a van for 2 weeks. And that's about enough to get you to see the Grand Canyon and do that whole loop. And I'm expecting them being little kids, they're not going to be able to do a lot of hiking. If they're like 10 and older, then I'd recommend do some hiking. But yeah, I won't do that. All right, that's it. Okay, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. And we'll see you guys later. Toodles.